Mods for Minecraft are different. With this statement, I think all players of Minecraft will agree. Sometimes they are interesting with their own lore, such as Aether. Sometimes they can be mysterious as a Twilight Forest, magical like Thaumcraft, or functional like Create. There are plenty of mods. But today I would like to look in the top of cursed mods that somehow look strange and ridiculous. In this case, I will choose the most unpopular mods, which have the least downloads. If suddenly you know cool, but this time popular cursed mods, feel free to write them in the comments. Let's see what the developers have prepared this time. Let's take a warm-up look at something nasty and unpleasant. As you know, zombies drop rotten flesh after death, spiders drop their eyes, and the pufferfish is rather strange fish in general. What do all of these items have in common? They can all be eaten, and they all impose some sort of effect on the players after eating them. The first mod for today adds the ability to cook all this gourmet delicious in a furnace. After that, they can be eaten, and what's most important, they cannot harm the player except for the effect of nausea for a few seconds. If you go completely off the rails, then by combining all three ingredients in the workbench and adding a bowl, you can get Potpourri, which means a mishmash of food in French. This dish restores 5 points of satiety at once. With the release of version 1.16, players can survive in Nether without any problems. There is food there, it drops from hoglins, there are some kind of trees from which you can create sticks and stuff, and there is also basalt. You can create stone tools from it. Diamonds and armor can be found in bastion remnants and fortresses, and Netherite and gold can be mined. Convenient, but here is the author of the next mod decided to add the Glowstone Pickaxe, so that players do not spend their diamonds to mine Netherite. Logical? Logical. So with just 3 blocks of glowstone and 2 sticks, you can create new kind of pickaxe that is just as good as a diamond pickaxe. Both of these pickaxes are identical in durability and mining speed. The next mod I just love because of its name, Evil Beet. This mod does not much, but it's pretty interesting. The first thing it does is a small beet, which is aggressive mob that will randomly appear after the player harvests beasts somewhere in the farm. It poses no threat, it only has 7.5 hearts of life, but it will generally attack the player for some unknown reason to me. Upon death, with a 20% chance, he will leave a sentient beetroot. It differs from the usual one only in that it has a face. You can feed this beetroot to the pigs, I've tried, but as soon as the player eats it, that enchant will pop up following. Your action will have consequences. Sometime after that, the beetroot boss will appear. He has 60 hearts of life and looking quite huge. Of course, he will attack the player. After dying with a 15% chance, he will leave a beetroot heart. By eating it, the number of players' hearts will increase by 1 unit. Are you afraid of toads? No, honestly, when I was a kid, I was told that holding a toad in my hands could give me warts. I still don't know if that's true or not. I know for sure that in Minecraft, warts cannot appear on the body of the player, so I am not afraid of them. But the next mod will fix that. It adds a creepy toad that will be extremely scary, screaming and chasing the player to hurt him. This toad looks really scary. It has long legs, it can move both on 2 legs and on a full force. It has some spikes on its back and its head is just a wide open frog mouth. Mob is extremely fast, heals in a few hits and has exactly 250 hearts of life. You can kill it, because it has a permanent regeneration effect. But to be precise, you can kill him with a normal weapon. But if you go underground and you manage to find frogium, a new ore, consider yourself victorious. From it you can get a piece of frogium. You can create a frogium ingot from 4 of these pieces, an atom of undying and 4 diamond blocks. By combining the diamond sword, that atom of undying and this ingot, we get a unique sword. It has a strength of 1,050 units. Yes, but its durability is only 4 units. If you hit the toad with this sword, it will use the totem of undying, and after 1 more hit it will start to fall apart. A normal frog will even jump out of it. After a while it will seem to revive and disappear for a while. The following mod adds a new dimension to the game. But wait, no need to skip ahead. I wouldn't be telling you about it if it didn't have a twist. The thing is that after the player dies and presses the respawn button, they appear first in the afterlife dimension. This is rather desolate place, mostly wooded trees without leaves and dead bushes. Sometimes you can find ruins of a school in this dimension, and the structure itself is inhabited by a creepy monster, Bloody Mary. Of course, she's aggressive towards the player and will try to destroy him as soon as she sees him. There is nothing surprising about this. If she kills the player, he will steal still appear in this dimension. To get out of it, you'll need to find a white tower. It will be visible from afar. By right-clicking on it, the player will get out of this dimension and get to the overworld. Here you can still meet Krampus in the winter biomes. He summons his elves. If you manage to defeat him, he will leave a gift. After opening, it may fall 5 netherite ingots, 12 units of coal, or the rare appearance of the Krampus. From the unusual phenomena, there is also the wolf ghost. After your wolf valiantly died in a battle defending you, instead of his physical shell will appear his ghost or spirit. He will already have 50 hearts of life, but of course he can also die. He cannot be revived. Time in Minecraft is a very strange thing, and in general, not only in Minecraft. I was wondering how often do you use the clock in the game? That is, do you intentionally create and hang them in a frame or take them with you in the cave? Tell me in the comments. But what if I tell you that the author of the next mod added time travel directly in Minecraft? Intriguing, right? To begin with, the player will have to mine 8 stone blocks, as well as create a conduit. After that, it should be placed in the center of the workbench and cover it with the stone blocks. We will get a new item, a timeline switch. The texture, of course, is very strange. It's kind of like a regular pearl, but in any case, when you press it, we get into another timeline. It's not clear if it's really the future or the past, but it looks completely different. Moving through the alternate dimension and then teleporting back to the overworld, we also move through the coordinates, rather than standing still. There is also a second switch with the compass. It works the same way, but above the hotbar, it shows which dimension we have moved to. Now let's pay attention to the new sword. I think out of all today's mods, this one is the weirdest, but at the same time cool. It adds XP sword. You can create it with the 2 units of lapis lazuli and 1 stick. The recipe is as simple as possible and very cheap. The end result is a sword that looks exactly like the Lorax from the cartoon of the same name. Maybe I'm just crazy and I'm making this up, but it's the Lorax, wouldn't you agree? The point of this sword is that when it strikes, it randomly fills up the player experience bar. Pretty cool, right? I still don't understand what the Lorax has to do with it. If the previous mod was fun, this one is basically weird. It only adds 4 new foods. Chocolate-covered fish. Yes, that's true, and yes, that's gross. And all 4 fish don't restore as much hunger as I'd like them to. Pufferfish generally applies level 4 poisoning for 15 seconds. The recipe for creating chocolate-covered fish is simple. To a certain type of fish, you need to add 2 units of cocoa beans. After that, the chocolate fish is ready. Yes, the fish must be used raw, and let's move on to the next mod. Or I'm going to vomit right into the microphone. The next mod that I will show you managed to scare me a little bit. The thing is that after installing it, it kind of forbids you to log out of Minecraft. In the upper left corner will be written the number of attempts when I try to leave the game, as well as the time spent specifically for this session. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. You press the quit button and nothing happens, just the counter increases. I thought that by clicking on the cross of the window itself, I could exit, but nothing happened. I got scared for a second, so I had to quit the game using the task manager. The next mod is to undermine everything you can in Minecraft. If you add this mod in the game, then after any action will be create dynamite. For example, as soon as the player destroys a block, in its place will appear immediately lit TNT. If the player decides to fish a little in the water and catches a fish, treasure or garbage, then at the place where the player was standing will form a lit TNT. Yes, even when you kill monster or mobs, then in their place will appear dynamite. And as soon as the player inflicts critical damage to the place where he stood will appear TNT. Hey, that's not bad. Maybe I should try to beat Minecraft with this mod. What do you think? Ancient debris appeared in Minecraft relatively recently. Mining this, you can say ore, is quite problematic. At a minimum, the player needs to have a potion of fire resistance and a little patience. The author of the next mod decided to slightly improve this ore. Now, when mining ancient debris, will fall out not the block itself, but only a piece of it. Yes, that is, by enchanting the pickaxe for fortune, after mining can fall out several of these pieces. They can also be thrown in the furnace, and after smelting, they will turn into netherite scrap. 8 pieces of ancient debris can be used to create a complete block. As far as I understand, it is decorative and there is no other uses for it. In general, even cool, but because of this loses all the difficulty in mining which the developers have added. The next mod is also, like all of them, pretty weird and pointless. That's the point of all cursed mods. In general, I will even show you 2 mods at once, although it's the same one. It's just that for some reason it was split into 2. Adding this mod to the game, the player after jumping will receive damage in 1 heart. This applies not only to players but also to mobs too. On the one hand, quite an interesting challenge, but essentially, when you realize that you need to place a slab before climbing a block, everything becomes quite common. The second mod does the same thing, but instantly kills the player and mobs after jumping. what if you combine this mod and the one that creates dynamites and try to beat this Minecraft? Torches in the game are an indispensable thing. With them, much easier to move in dark places. The mod that I will demonstrate is kind of created for horror mods. All it does is after a certain time it removes the torches that players have placed. Everything can be customized with comments. You can select all players at once or a certain one, so that only those players have their torches destroyed. Of course, there is a setting of time after which randomly placed torch will be destroyed. The next mod, well, as if directly very useless. But that's its feature. All it adds is a key, by pressing which will appear slime with the effect of spectral arrow. Literally, in a matter of seconds he will disappear, or rather shrink until it simply disappears. As stated by the author of the mod, he decided to add such a way to accurately indicate the target to the other players, so that you can easily point literally where the player is looking at the moment. It seems, yes, very useful, but the mod does not work for long distances, only where the hand can reach. Beyond, the slime will not be able to summon. But the idea in any case cool. The last mod for today, as the author states, created in just 24 hours, for some kind of competition. The mod adds a giant dungeon from old retro games. It is noticeable by the block texture. The dungeon is really huge, and you will have to spend not a little time to pass it. In general, our task is to kill hostile monsters. Evil skeletons, ghouls, goblins and wizards. They look flat, as if they were really added from the old games. There are no chests in the dungeon, and all loot will fall only from mobs. If you're lucky, you can find jump blades, which will be thrown upwards, as well as the dashing blade. If the player can find 4 pieces of the key, then by combining them you can get a full key. In the center of this dungeon is a special block. Opening it with the key will appear the final boss, an evil wizard. He shoots the fire charges, and the number of his lives reaches 125 hearts. There is no goal as such in this mod. The entrance to this dungeon is marked by a small house made of retro bricks. Unpopular cursed mods are extremely numerous. They come out literally every day. So if you suddenly enjoyed this episode, give it a like and write that you want a sequel. I remind you that you can also write popular cursed mods. I think the episode about these mods will be also interesting. While you're waiting for the new video, I advise you to watch these. They are also very interesting. Subscribe to this channel, put thumbs up and click on the bell. We'll hear from you again, because we're discovering Minecraft in a new way.